I worked for Amway of Canada, and Sharon worked at Amway Corp, and there were two ladies that retired, and Sharon hosted the retirement party in her house, and I met her in the kitchen, and actually the first time she saw me, I was wearing these.
So I just couldn't resist something like that. Too much. So Jeff and I have been married 10.5 years, and before we got married, we both had been married before. One of the first things that we did was to buy a book, but it was called How to Make Your Second Marriage a First Class Success. But it was one of the things that really helped us before we got married to kind of sort through all the baggage that we were bringing from our prior relationships. I think the biggest challenges for us with the blended families are the kids. Our kids are 30, 28, 20, and 17. Our number one rule in a blended families is you have to put the marriage first. That's really tough when it comes time to, if you will, choosing between your spouse and your biological child. But if you don't put your marriage first, then you won't have a marriage.
And I will kiss you till your breath is found.
Throughout the 10 years, it's been wonderful. And I think a lot of that has to do with a few critical things that we do and have done.
When Jeff and I got married, part of our wedding ceremony was something called a rose ceremony. And in that ceremony, you promised one another that you'll be quick to forgive, and sometimes words aren't there. So the idea was you find a special place in your house, you identify that place. And when you can't find those words with the forgiveness, you put a rose in a vase in that spot, and that sort of brings you back to your marriage vows and communicates that which might be a little tough at that time to communicate to one another. So we use that rose now, and it's not just about the forgiveness piece, but it's also about just being appreciative of one another.
It can be any time, whether there's been anything at all where you had any kind of a little disagreement, or whether it's just that I was thinking of you. The other one comes into the room and sees that, and, it just lights you up.
Yeah. It's just a way to remind each other kind of how much you mean to one another, so you don't take each other for granted.
And when you walk inside, I feel the door. I'll never let it push your arms no more.